Islam, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Peace. First and foremost, we want to give honors to the Most High, Father of the universe, Allah. We also want to give honors to our prophet, our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed. We also want to give honors to the forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, for preparing the way for our prophet. And we want to give honors to all the faithful Moors out there all over the world, everyone for holding the door open, for teaching and spreading the information, for everyone in all the different organizations and groups, the temples, the Grand Council. We want to give honors to everyone out there, all the Moors out there. And we also want to give honors to all you Moors for watching these videos and for sharing them. Thank you for sharing and helping to spread this information. Okay, I'm sure by watching this you understand how important this stuff is, especially this video that you're about to watch. This is a short documentary that is already on the channel, but I'm putting it out again. Enough people haven't seen it. This needs to go viral, so make sure you don't just watch. Make sure you share this a couple times with your friends and family. This one in particular is a short documentary about the Montauk Indian tribe and how they were actually in the courtroom in the Supreme Court when the judge declared them too black. You know, he declared them Negroes. They were too black to be Indians. Okay, even though they were upholding the tribal traditions and they were black by bloodline, the Montauk Indians, by all accounts, everyone knew this. Okay, and it wasn't a secret. And this is documented throughout history. This is actually American history, so we're not just running off at the mouth. You can go and look this stuff up for yourself. It's a known fact. If you've seen another video on this channel where I interviewed, the author, Peter Moon, he also speaks about this. He spoke about this in his book, in the Montauk Book of the Dead. This is a great interview. You can see it on the screen. Just go check that out. That's also on the channel. And he really delves into this topic. He also discusses how the Montauk and pretty much all the indigenous people in this land, or most of the indigenous people in this land, were Moors. Okay, so it was a very interesting interview, and you want to talk about, you want to view this and to share it. And also there's some other stuff on here that's pretty much like necessary. Like, everybody needs to check it out, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about real quick. Hang on one second. Okay, here we go. On the channel for Moors in America, everybody go here and check out the videos on this channel. We have two that also go in on this topic. One is right here. You see us in front of the flag. It says Indian to Negro, Moorish, copper colored, indigenous. Check this out. Okay, this video has documentation, actual historical documents showing how it was government sanctioned, where they were just calling people, declaring people who were indigenous Americans just left and right, declaring them Negroes. Okay, and there's a big, huge, long paper trail showing this, right? So this is a must view also to gain more info on the topic. And also, when you're watching that, check out, when you're done watching it, click in the description, go to the website and read that post on there. Okay, and you'll be glad that you did, and you want to share that, get that. And there's another video on here too, same type of topic, Indian to Negro, spitting facts that explain basically what Waka Flocka Flame was talking about when he was on the Sway Show, whatever it's called, when he was on there and he was explaining how he's not black. This video pretty much lets you know what he was talking about, why he's saying that, and it makes sense of it for all of us. Okay, and so that's another one that's important for everybody to see. And without taking up any more of your time, I'm gonna go ahead and start the documentary for everyone. Make sure you share this video. This information needs to go viral. Okay, they don't teach this in any history class. It's out there, so the documentation is out there. It's just they're not telling you this is what happened for the most part. Okay, so this is a very important thing that pretty much closes the gap for anyone who's a historian out there, okay, who's wondering why there's so many things that don't fit. This is why. Okay, so this needs to get out there. More people need to know this. All right, and without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started.
We have a judge in New York, a Supreme Court justice, European descent, named Abel Blackmar, who just declares an entire tribe extinct. Okay, we have a court case, a land dispute, where you have nearly 80 tribe members of the Montauk tribe who come to court. Their chief, okay, Wyandotte Pharaoh, the chief of the tribe of the Montauk Indians, is there, and he's telling the Supreme Court judge to recognize him as the chief of the tribe and to nullify any land deals that are going on between tribe members and some of the other residents, white residents or people of European descent. You had greedy railroad companies and different people who were scheming to take the tribal lands from them. And basically, they were trying to get whatever land rights they had nullified. Okay, they had an agreement for the land where they owned it perpetually, so no one's supposed to be able to take it from them. So what were they doing in this court case? They're trying to finagle them out of their rights. What happens? Judge Abel Blackmar declares the entire tribe of Montauk Indians extinct, and he uses race as his basis for the claim. They even point at the chief, and he asks other residents in the area if they know the chief, if they think Chief Pharaoh is an Indian. And they have these other residents of European descent, everybody's European descent. They're all like, well, his hair is really kinky, his skin's brown, he's a negro, he's a mulatto, he's a negro. You know, everybody's saying this, right? All their quote unquote witnesses, right? And so this is the basis of the claim. The judge declares the tribe extinct. Okay, and he says they've been mixing too much, and you know that basically they're just Negroes, and so these can't be the Indians. All right, and this is the biggest part of that claim, and this is how they took their land from them, and this was happening all over the country. So, and let me tell you something about that. I mean, like, you guys probably don't care. You don't care about the words or any of this stuff. That's a childish way of looking at it, because even taking on that term black, when you look at it from a legal perspective, if you got the Black's Law Dictionary, you can look and see what black means. Black makes you legally dead, you know? Civiliter Mortuus. I mean, if you've had any exposure to Latin, you know, any Latin-based languages like, you know, Spanish, Portuguese, you know, Italian, French, all that stuff. You know, mortis means morte, means dead. Okay? Civilly dead. And then if you understand this, there's no wonder why, you know, black people had to fight for their civil rights. Okay? These are people who were declared civilly dead. And these were the Native Americans for the most part. You did have people who were brought over here from Africa, but for the most part, all the people who are considered black today were already here. Okay, and we've got several instances. We have paper trails, okay, of court cases and laws being changed and declared where, like, whole tribes, entire tribes are being declared Negroes. Okay? And in the case that I was just talking about, this is actually a big deal, and you can go and look all of this stuff up. It's going on my site. It's going in the book. It's all there for you, right? There's a paper trail. Okay, and this is how the Montauk Indians became extinct. So when they tell you, which I hear a lot of people regurgitating and saying, well, all the Indians got killed out and blah, blah. This is how they became extinct. This is how they became extinct. Just with words, semantics, word games. I know a lot of people are turned off from the Moorish nationality, the information, and that's because of the people that are delivering it. You know, maybe you're looking at how they're living, you're looking at them, and maybe, you know, you have some people who are scheming, who are trying to this is off topic, but you have people that are scheming, that are trying to squat in houses, you know, trying to say they're sovereign and all this mess that has nothing to do with the movement. Okay, I get that, and it's turning you off, but I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but that's a part of it, man. That's a part of how you got tricked out of who you really are. Okay, and I mean, if you want to put your head in the sand, that's fine. Like, I get it. You know, there was a big push to, you know, for all of us to come under the umbrella of being black. And in some ways it's good. You got people that are real light complected, like Farrakhan, and, you know, he's black. And people that are dark skinned, we black, and we're all black, and that's cool. And James Brown had the song Black is Beautiful, Black and Proud, and all that. And I get that part of it, the camaraderie and stuff is cool. But, you know, if it doesn't matter, because from a legal perspective, you have nothing, man. That's how come the police can kill you and not only get away with it, not even get prosecuted, man. They don't even go to trial. Never. They always declare, they always throw it out. They never take this stuff to trial, you know, because you don't have any civil rights. You really don't. You're legally dead. Okay, and anything that we have, like the right to vote, and, you know, sometimes you can win little cases or you can get some kind of rights and stuff. These are all just temporary privileges that are granted to these people, you know. These aren't actual rights. So if you want to keep going on under that umbrella, you know, you're doing it with the knowledge, because you could just look in the Black's Law Dictionary and see this stuff for yourself and know that this isn't just some, you know, BS. This is legal terminology. This is what is written into laws. This is what is going on in the court. The Supreme Court's a big deal. Every state has their own Supreme Court. Then you have the national Supreme Court, right? And I mean, the laws and things that are getting written, this is a big deal. It's a big deal. It determines how, you know, how you're interpreted nationally and internationally, you know. So, like, it affects your life. And, hey, if you want to act like that legal status of black doesn't matter, I'm still going to be black. I'm still going to call myself this. I'm African American. If you're going to say this stuff and act like that doesn't matter, you're doing it with the knowledge that there's more to it than meets the eye. It's not just a word, okay? And then these weren't terms that we made up for ourselves. These were placed on us, okay? We didn't even come up with the term Afro-American, African-American. These are things that were come up with by think tanks of people that didn't look like us at all. People with blonde hair and blue eyes, people who didn't have our best interests at heart, who wanted to take what was ours, who wanted to usurp our heritage, wanted to usurp our resources, right? They wanted to get us off the land, get us disconnected from it so that we won't even feel like fighting for it. Like, my great-grandfather's a Blackfoot Indian. He owned land, had a farm, you know, was doing great, and the land wound up getting lost. And I remember my granddad and his brother, my uncle, great uncle, were always like looking for ways to see if they could get that land back, you know. And I mean, I always thought, like, you know, I understood. I'm like, yeah, that was yours. That's ours. That's the legacy. But, like, you know, finding out more about, you know, who we really are, it really makes sense now, because it's like this was happening on a grand scale. This was happening all over the country, right? And I mean, like, if you look at someone else in my situation, by the time you get down to my generation, they wouldn't even care, you know, because they would have no idea why it'd be important to get that land back. They wouldn't know that their great-grandfather's a Native American because they're black. You're black now, you know, and then there's a disconnect between the generations. You know, they probably wouldn't even be messing with their granddad or nothing like that. So they wouldn't know they're fighting for the land or they're trying to get the land, you know. And then a lot of times people don't even pass the oral history down, you know. But I tell you one thing, like, for the most part, I mean, just on common sense, man, how many of you have grandparents or great grandparents who can tell you about the days in Africa, or even just tell you that their parent or grandparent came from somewhere in Africa. No one can. You know, the people that can are the people who fucking come from countries like Ghana. You know, they come from places like Nigeria. They know where they came from, you know? And even people who who would be considered African Americans, who do actually have some lineage from Africa, a lot of those people know. Even with all the craziness going on with slavery and all this stuff, a lot of people know, you know, because at least some vestige of that would have been passed down, you know, even if it was just some kind of rituals, you know, it would have been passed down. But if the only thing you've been told is like, okay, yeah, you got some other stuff in there, maybe some European stuff or something, but yeah, you got Cherokee, you got this, you got Blackfoot, you got all this stuff, right? It's like, dude, that's what you used to be before some white judge came through and declared your people extinct and declared your ancestor a negro, a black, a mulatto or whatever. And, you know, just took it from them. So, like, I didn't make any of this up. I wouldn't make this up. This is sick. It's disgusting. You know, I would never make up something this crazy and backwards. But it is what it is, you know? And it's real. And it's going on all over the place. And I mean, like, you know, I get the backlash against it because, you know, you've been bred to believe the only reason there are quote unquote black people here is because they were brought over on slave ships. And some people fell in love with that stuff. There's a museum here where I live. Well, not a museum. It's an African American center, right? So it's an awesome place where they have like children's programs and they have classes there, art classes, all types of stuff, right? And there's a portion of it where the whole inside of it is like elaborate, and it's like an African, it's like a slave ship from the transatlantic slave trade, right? And so when you think about it, like, there's kind of a romanticism with that, because even with that, people's like, well, we survived the journey. The journey was so hard, and so many of us died on the way over. So people romanticize with that, fall in love with that, and accept that it's your story, you know? And even, I mean, like, there's so much to it, you know? And then there was a big push in the 70s with the whole Roots story with Alex Haley, who he wrote the autobiography of Malcolm X, and actually had beef with Malcolm X. Malcolm X didn't really want him finishing that book. Like, I think halfway through, he didn't want him to do it, but he wound up dying, and so, well, he was assassinated, and then Haley went ahead and put it out. And then after that, he comes out with Roots, right? Roots comes out, this story about how Alex Haley, he went to the Mormon church where they keep all the genealogy of everyone, or they keep all these records. He goes to Lloyd's of London, and he's going to all these places. He's a jet setter, you know, he's an international traveler. He's just going everywhere to trace his history, right? And so he gets oral history of how, like, his great whatever grandfather was Kunta Kinte, and he was from this tribe in Africa, and you know, he gets an oral history of how he lived over there and came over here, right? So his oral history mattered because he was talking about being African American and coming over to the slave trade. Now, your oral history of being Native American don't matter, right? But that one does matter. So I just need to point that out, because that in and of itself is a contradiction. So back to Haley, he gets this oral history, and he finds records, slave records, and he writes this wonderful story about his family, and he gets everything, pulls all the records together, and he's able to piece together his family history tracing back to Africa, which is something that no one's ever done before, and especially on a scale that he's done, right? So no one's able to get that connection except him. And so, of course, this is a big deal. It's a book, it's the movie, and the big mini series plays on TV. Everybody's tuned in, millions of people watching it. They send it to other countries, so it's all over the world. And the main thing is to get you here to get it, you know. And so everybody's watching it. You know, white people's watching it, black people, and they even rehash it every 20 years to make sure that the new generation gets it. Like they had some mess that was coming on like earlier this year. I think they redid Roots, and they had like T.I., you know, the rapper in it. So they got the modern version, man. They got the modern version now. Okay. So all right, so they rehash it. They got to make sure you get it. And then while all this is going on, he's getting sued. Back then, way back then, he got sued because a man of European descent wrote a book called, I think, The Slave. I think it was called The Slave. So he writes the book, and it's a fictional story of this dude who's, you know, captured in Africa and brought over here. And it's the story of his family being from Africa and getting enslaved. And so the dude wrote the book and put it out way before Haley even got started on Roots. And he had proof. And so Haley had to settle out of court and pay this guy a lot of money. And the thing is, like, Roots was such a big deal. Haley had big time people backing him. Okay, like back then they would have been billionaires. Why would these white billionaires be backing this black dude tracing his family history back to Africa? Why are they paying his ticket to go over here to London? You need to go over here to Gambia. Okay, here we go. We got you. You need to go to LA. Oh, we got you. Here. Why are they paying all this? Why are they paying this dude off to settle out of court to make him go away? You know? Why are they making sure this is getting promoted? We want this on NBC. We want this playing all over the world. Why are they doing this? Why is it such a big deal for this black dude to trace his history and do this? Why? Okay? It's just like Black Lives Matters. Why is this billionaire George Soros, white dude, financing this damn movement called Black Lives Matters? You know? Why? I mean, just the fact that this is involved with it will make me be like, fuck, I'm going in the other direction. Okay? So yeah, why was Haley financed and untouchable? Why are people able to sue him and like, hey, I got proof you just plagiarized my shit? and it don't, one monkey don't stop no show. How come people able to prove that he stole the idea? This is fake. He took my shit. They just give him enough hush money and make him disappear, and his shit still gets blown up, and nobody even brings up the fact that it's fake. And they are still doing it today. That's why I brought up that they rehashed the shit. T.I. in there so the young people can see it again. And that's how come you got people in their 20s and 30s and stuff that's on this shit that will argue with you. Ain't no been over here. The Indians are dead. The white man killed them. Brought all y'all over on slave ships. Stop hating yourself. You know? Come on, man. Come on. Y'all giving them too much credit. All right? And why was that Roots such a big deal? They rehashing the shit still to this day. It ain't about, entertainment. We want to entertain y'all with these stories of slavery. This shit ain't entertaining. Why are they rehashing it? Why are they getting new bloods to do it, the new celebrities to do it? Because they need to keep you indoctrinated. You can't wake up. You can't wake up, man. You can't know that this is your land. You can't know that they declared whole tribes extinct just by legally reclassifying them to black. You can't know that. That's why I'm connecting the dots for you. You can't know that black means you are legally dead. And that they reclassified tribes, from whatever their tribe was to legally dead black. They don't want you to connect the dots. That's why the bullshit keeps getting put out. And you buying it. You just buying it. Right? Y'all just gonna keep buying it and fighting it. And that's how come, the media shit. Like I said, they got the young bloods up in there. They got the new rappers. Who we gonna have doing it next? You know. So they got rappers in there now playing the slaves and the Alex Haley story all over again, and y'all buying it, right? You know, they taught you the shit in school. That's the only thing they taught you in school. I mean, yeah, you know, Black History Month, you get to learn about some people. It's all the same people for the most part. You know, unless you have some teacher who want to mix it up and, you know, I'm tired of just talking about Booker T. Washington and stuff. So for the most part, it was just like slavery, Martin Luther King. That's pretty much it, right? And that's the great history that you have, and that's what you taught, you know, and that's it. And so you grow up, and I mean, even though like you're supposed to grow and be able to think outside the box, you just keep regurgitating that, and that's what frame you're working off of, because that's the reality that was built for you. That's the reality that was shaped for you. And that's why the media is rehashing that with these Roots remakes, you know? I remember like 20 years ago, they had one with Halle Berry in it. She's supposed to be like Alice Haley's grandma, Queen, or Queenie or something like that. And she, you know, so they rehashed it with the stars from then. And, you know, now they got T.I. coming out, and I don't know what his name is, you know? So they going to keep doing it, and y'all just going to keep buying it, right? But we have it on record, okay, where these fools actually declared tribes. You have, in the case where I was talking about with the Montauk Indians, you have 75 tribe members, Montauk Indians, standing in there in the court, and their chief, okay, Wyandotte Pharaoh, the chief, he's like, I'm son of David Pharaoh, who was the chief in line before him. And he's like, look, this is our land. We are not selling it to these people. We have a land agreement. You know, you can't renege on this. And since they can't renege on it, what does the Supreme Court judge do? He says, well, you guys aren't the tribe members. You guys are basically you're black. And the Montauk Indians are dead, extinct. And lo and behold, in your history books, they leave that part out, but they let you know the Indians got wiped out. There's a couple over here. They don't look black though. You know, they're like the Eskimos, and then the white ones. They let the white ones who, like, you know, paid $5 to become Indians. They let them be the Indians now. You know, but that's it. That's it. That's how it happened. That's how it went down. I ain't making this shit. I mean, look it up. Look up Montauk Indian land dispute. Look up Judge Abel Blackmar. Abel Blackmar. And wow, what a name, right? Blackmar. I mean, like I said, I'm not making this up. I don't really feel like I should have to prove this to you, because there's so much out there, man. I mean, the internet's crazy. Whatever you want to find, you'll find it. You know, so if you want to find BS, you'll find it. If you want to find the truth, whatever that is, you'll find it. But you have several instances where Europeans describe the natives of the land of the Americas, North, South, and Central America, as being black. I shouldn't use that word, but I'm trying to relate to people who still want to be civilly dead, I guess. I'm not trying to be in that position, but I'm trying to tell you this shit so you can wake up. You know? They even described the hair for you, man. They even said that people had coarse hair, curly hair. Some people had straight hair, but they described us. And then copper skin tone. For the most part, damn near everybody said copper skin tone. You know? Dark brown. Dark brown people. Nappy hair. Curly hair. All right? And, I mean, what else is there to say? You know? William Penn, founder of Pennsylvania, said that the settlers referred to the Indians as three things: Indians, Moors and Negroes. They just called them those things interchangeably. Like it meant nothing to them. I mean, if the Indians didn't look like Moors and Negroes, why the hell would they be calling them that? So they used that stuff interchangeably. And then they snuck it on them and took the land because eventually these people got declared Negroes. And there are very rare cases where you have people, there are some people who didn't allow this to happen or who fought it, even though it made their life extremely hard. But you do have some people who would be declared black, who fought to keep their Indian status, okay? But I just wanted to share that. You know, because the truth is there. It's out there. It's right in front of you. But if you're in the illusion, you can't see it. You can't. And that's pretty much it. I just had to get that off my chest. And look this stuff up. Look it up. Stop calling yourself black, though. I mean, it's legally dead. I mean, should I get the Black's Law Dictionary and tell you what it means? You probably won't care, you know? Because you have to be, like, mature to care and to understand and to know that the legal definition means something. Have you ever been to court and seen that, like, the words that you use on an everyday basis don't have the same meaning legally? And that the only thing that matters is the legal definition? That you can sit there and be all charismatic, or you can cry, or you can argue with the judge, and it ain't gonna do anything for you. It's just about the facts, what can be proven, and what can be done from a legal perspective. That's it, you know? Like, you don't want to go into a legal setting and call yourself a minor, because a minor is like a child. Minor is not competent. A minor can't represent himself, right? So if you're a minority, which is what civilly dead people like to call themselves, and I'm pretty sure black people, civilly dead people, I'm pretty sure they didn't come up with the term minority, but they accepted it. So if you're a minority, you're a minor, and you're incompetent. So you have a whole bunch of people that are incompetent, and they act like it. They do act like it. Okay? And that's another thing. That's really stupid to call yourself a minor and just knowing that, hey, that carries a legal ramification with it. And then you're talking about freaking getting classified in this as a whole group, as a race or whatever, being called minorities, when that doesn't even make sense, because we're not the minority. There's a bunch of us. There's a ton of us. We're all over the place. Okay? And then if you look up minority in the Black's Laws Dictionary, it's saying the state or condition of being under legal age, infancy. This is not good. None of this is good. That's pretty much it, though. I guess I'll let this go. I don't know. Look up black. Look it up online. Look it up in the Black's Law Dictionary. See what this shit means and see if that's what you want to call yourself. See if that's a cool thing to get your people classified as. And that was my rant, and I'm gonna end it on that note.